Hi, and welcome back to the Everyday Project Manager. My name's Jeremy Nichols, and in this video, I'm going to be telling you how to create a quick and dirty budget to manage your project. Now, every project needs a budget. It's a way of keeping on top of your finances, making sure you've got enough money, and protecting yourself from any nasty surprises down the way, that being overspend, running out of money, and so on. Now, I've managed hundreds of projects over my years as a professional project manager, and I'm going to distill down for you and give you the 4 easy steps to build your project budget. And it doesn't have to be massively complicated. You don't need a great big Excel spreadsheet with hundreds of lines. You just need a pen and a paper and you're away. Now, it's really much more simple than many people think, and it's nothing to be afraid of. And just to make it even easier, if you stay to the end, I'll be giving you some links to some templates that you can download from our website that will help you to do this even more easily. So please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let's get straight into how you build a budget. So the first thing you need to do is to build your budget. And this is a really easy step because it is literally just getting all the things out of your head that you might need to spend money on over the entire course of your project. So if your project is putting together a wedding, for example, you're going to have the flowers, the venue, the cars, the transport, the food, the catering, the drinks, all that stuff. Just write it all down on the column on the left-hand side of your page, and that will give you your first starting point. In order to help you think of all those things, quite often people don't have a good sense of how much money they're going to need to spend in their minds, but they will have an idea of all the things that they're going to need to do. So step through the plan in your mind of all the things you're going to do in the months running up and over the course of your project. And at each point go, is there anything here that I need to spend money on? So at what point do I need to buy the flowers? At what point do I need to do this, that, or the other? And how much do I need to spend on it? So now you've got a list of all the things that you're going to spend money on. The next step is to estimate how much each of those things is going to cost. So we make our way down the list and we estimate roughly how much that's going to cost. And the important thing here is not to be too detailed, not to say it's going to cost you £5.93, because the more detailed a project budget is, the more difficult it actually is to manage, and you'll ultimately lose interest and not bother with it at all, which defeats the entire point of the exercise. So we're looking at rough orders of magnitude when we're looking at the cost estimates. So rather than saying it's going to cost £98.50, call it £100. And when we get to step 3, we're going to look at a technique we use that will help us manage those over and under estimates. So a broad, rough estimate of the cost and you're away. The last step is simply to add up all the lines, and that gives you your total project budget, the total amount you will need to spend. Now that figure might come as a bit of a shock, but at least now you've listed out everything so you know where you might have some flexibility. If you've listed them all out and all those things are essential spend, then you know you will have to spend that much money. But if you don't want to spend that much money, you know which things you might be able to flex up and down to bring that total figure back to where you need it to be. Now the next thing to do, having worked out your total cost, is to work out when you're going to spend it. And that takes us to step 2. So step 2 is to work out your spend over time. This is figuring out when you're going to spend money over the life of your project. And this is quite simple as well. You now know what your total amount of spend is. This is now a case of stepping through the life of your project and working out when you're going to spend each item. So when do you need to order the flowers for the wedding? When do you need to have paid the deposit on the venue? And what you do is you break it out by month or by week, but keep it fairly high level again. 1, it's really good practice just to be staying on top of your money and knowing when it's going out. But 2, and this is the main reason, is that you don't want any unpleasant surprises. You don't want to find out that you're going to run out of money at the point that you run out of money. By working out your monthly spend or your weekly spend when the money's going out, you get early warning if a budget item is spending slightly more than it ought to be. And that means you can make the necessary course corrections to bring your project back on track and under budget. And that takes us to step 3. So step 3 is to put a little bit of contingency and risk into your budget. What's contingency and risk? Let's take each of those in turn. First, your contingency is a little bit of extra cash that you put into your budget to allow for any variances in your estimating, or where things just come in a little bit more expensive than you originally thought they would be. This way you're not blowing your budget and you have money set aside for those little variations that you might not have been able to forecast, but it's not going to throw your project off track. Risk, on the other hand, is money that you set aside to deal with any unforeseen eventualities. Now, these might be things that you could predict are going to happen or might be completely unforeseen. But either way, you're going to want to set some money aside to deal with those things so they're not throwing your project off course. You're preparing ahead of time for the unforeseen and unpredictable. Now, for contingency, the way to do that is to look through the items in your cost plan and decide which items might have a little bit of give one way or the other, and you might want to allow a little bit of extra budget for in case those costs come in a bit high. You might also want to have some overall contingency, perhaps a pot of £100 set to one side just to deal for any of those things going over budget. Risk, on the other hand, you calculate by having a couple of minutes just thinking about what might go wrong, what unforeseen events could impact your project, and how much are they likely to cost you in the event. Now, you don't need to put aside the total cost because these are probabilistic events. They might not happen, but have some portion of money set aside that you can use to deal with some unforeseen events. Step 4 is to update and reforecast your money. So you've got the budget, you've established that. That's your baseline. That's how you think things are going to go right at the start of your project. But things change in project life, so you need to be continually updating and reforecasting your cost plan. So don't stop here. On a regular basis, be it weekly, monthly, fortnightly, whatever's appropriate to the length of your project, make sure you're taking out that plan again and seeing how it's shaping up now. Is there an item that's spending a bit more than you were expecting? Do you need to find more money, or can you be balancing that with some underspend somewhere else? Make sure you're reviewing your budget and seeing how it's tracking against where you thought it would be, because then you're getting early warnings of when things might be going wrong, and you can fix it before they become an issue, and more importantly, before you run out of money. Now, as you continually reforecast and update your cost plan, this is the point where a pen and paper might become a bit unwieldy or covered in crossings out and reforecasts. So this is where a spreadsheet might actually be a bit more helpful. And to help you with that, there is a spreadsheet which you can download from everydaypm.co.uk/templates, and that will give you a template cost plan that you can use to manage your project budget. So there you have it, the 4 steps to a quick and dirty cost plan that you can then manage and stay on top of your budget. Build the budget up, figure out your spend over the life of your project, add a little contingency and risk in to deal with the unforeseen, and finally, stay on top of it, update and manage your project. Please don't forget you can download a template that will help you do all of that from our website, and please remember to like and subscribe. Thanks ever so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.